Peace, everybody. I'm Jasmine, and this is my journal. Now, look, for those who are watching the YouTube video, I know y'all wonder why I'm laying here in bed with my bonnet on. So, when I decided to go on YouTube with the podcasting, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get dolled up and set up and do it that way and do it on YouTube. But then again, I changed my mind because I wanted just to keep it as close to journaling as possible. And when I journal, I'm usually in bed like this. So I might as well just keep it real all the way around. Now, look, when I have a guest on, I do get up, but ain't nobody on here today but me. So y'all gonna sit here and look at me with my bonnet on. And for those listening, you don't want to see this, but they gonna see it. Anyhow, how y'all doing? I am most excellent. I turned 42 days ago. I mean, I wasn't proud to turn 42 days ago, but yeah, I turned 40. I had a good birthday though. You know, we went to this spot called E&O Kitchen. It's like an Asian American spot. I had some lamb chops and some sushi. It was actually really, really, really good. And I had this drink. Okay, Alexa. I tell you, I think my house is haunted. Stuff been falling off the shelves. Like, yeah, I ain't about to scare y'all or scare myself because I'm in here by myself right now. But anyhow, we went there. Then after that, we went and got drunk at a Mexican restaurant. I was twerking on a statue I named him Hector. I just figured like he'll be my boyfriend because, you know, he was just strong and made of steel. Yeah, Hector. Yeah, me and Hector, we bonded for a minute there. On my actual birthday, I did nothing. I rested. I didn't go anywhere. I did treat myself to something I shouldn't eat, which was like a pasta salad that I've been craving. I've been eating healthy and working out. I'm a part of this accountability group, and I've been really watching what I'm eating. And it's crazy because it hasn't been showing on the scale. But the other day we did like we started off, we took pictures like front, side, and back. And then since we're midway through our little goal, we did catch up pictures. Even though my weight's not all the way showing on the scale, you can definitely tell that I've dropped some inches, which I was kind of telling because my pants are getting kind of loose. But baby, look at the good self. Yeah. I'm just saying. So I'm enjoying this. Working out is like a great stress reliever. Meditation, journal, exercise. If anybody was to ask me my three things, meditation, journal is my number one. I love writing. And exercising. Like today, I did 4 miles and my endurance is picked up. I was able to run like a jog or maybe super fast walk. At least like maybe a mile and a half of it. Yeah. Now look, it was in intervals, but I was able to do it when at one point I couldn't do it. But I felt so good. I just paid attention to my heart rate and I tried to keep my heart rate above 140, between 140 and 160. And I was able to do that even during the walking. I was walking, baby, just to keep my heart rate up. So it felt really, really, really good. And also, I think even though I'll be sore like the next day after I work out, it helps with, some of the pain that I have because I do have arthritis in my left hip, which comes from the lupus. I've got arthritis in my left hip. And, okay, let me put line. I got arthritis everywhere. I don't be telling people that, but I do. And when it rains like it is now, it really hurts. But look, right now, look, I worked out today. I'm not in much pain as I would usually be if I didn't. But the pain is still there. I'd be lying to say I didn't. I have pain probably all day, every day. I have pain so much and it's so chronic. I don't even know. I don't. You don't be realizing I'm in pain. To be like, are you in pain? You be like, yeah, I'm in pain, because you're just always in pain, always. Also, over the weekend, I got to So my kid's dad, he has a baby son. He's like 1, and every weekend, like clockwork, he always called me to have me come over there and sit with him. So I went over there and sat with him for a minute. He's a little chunker. He's so cute. He doesn't answer to his name, but he answers when you call him fat. Fat ass, fat man, little fat boy. He answers. And he's so chubby. He just wobbles on to you, smiling and laughing with his 3 or 4 teeth in his mouth. He's like the cutest little thing. He gives me so much joy. So him and my 6-year-old hang out. Usually when my kids that have me sit with him, he usually gone for about maybe 20 minutes. This fool was gone for like an hour and a half. I don't know where he went, but it's cool because we chilled out. One thing I did realize though, I thought I had baby fever. Hell no, I don't. That boy didn't sit down one time. When I say I was up, running, that was a workout too. He did not sit down. He didn't take a nap till his pops came in. And then when he realized that his pops was gone, he fooled on me. He was playing with me, laughing like, hey, and he just got quiet. Then he looked at me crazy. Then he ran and looked in the kitchen. Then he ran past me through the living room and ran in the back and checked all the rooms in the bathroom and came in there and looked at me and just spun around in a circle and was like, oh, it fell on the floor. You know, he ain't talking yet, but I knew it was his pops he was looking for. But it was comical. He's so theatrical. He spun around in that circle so dramatic, like, oh, and fell on the floor. Like, look, so you telling me y'all done fooled me and my pops done snuck out the door? He played it off good too. He like Jazz played with him. So I was tickling him, and while I was tickling the baby, he ran out the door. But I spent a little time with him, which was great. Then I went to get see my grandson, and I was like, he had toys. My daughter, for one, she's pregnant and she's tired, and he had toys all over the daggone floor. So I said, Jojo, pick your toys up. He said, my mommy does that. I said, boy, if you don't get your butt over here and pick your toys up, he said, my mama do it for me. So I had to tell him, like, I'm just gonna take the Spider-Man car that I bought you for your birthday back with me, and I picked it up and stuck it in my bag. I'm telling you, by the time I turned around, every single toy was picked up and put in its rightful place. So that worked. So he helped his mama clean up his toys. She cooked for Thanksgiving too. So she fixed me a plate for me to try her food. And all I gotta say about that is that she's on turkey duty from now on. That turkey was so good. The flavor was so good. It was so moist. I'm like, you know what? You learning from your mama. You just, and I learn how to cook, and then you learn how to cook, and you cooking like I be cooking, and we be cooking. I said, whew, I look forward to us cooking together. I mean, I was mad on Thanksgiving, but now I'm happy because she ain't come over. I was mad. She's like, Mom, I'm coming over. And never came. But it's all right because that food was slapping. That food was slapping. My baby can cook. I'm proud. I'm proud. So proud. So today I was talking to my friend and I was telling him the story about it was like a hard time. Y'all, I done went through some hard times. So I'm gonna tell you about the time that I almost ended up becoming homeless and I was homeless. And what led to me being homeless. It's the second time I've only been homeless twice. So the second time I was living in this house, right? And my landlord, I always paid on his rent, but one time I had got behind because I was stupid when I was 20. So by the time I was 27 to 30, all that stuff caught up to me. And they started garnishing my pay. I was being sued left and right for all these folks I ain't pay. They was tearing my butt up. Like, I mean, $600 out of it. So I got a little behind on rent. And my landlord was cool. But something happened with my landlord. And his spouse took over. And they filed eviction. Mind you, all of this is going on in the same month. They didn't want to talk it out. They didn't want to work through it. I couldn't give them any money. I couldn't nothing. They wanted me out. Like, this lady, she was like, you got to go. I'm like, shoot. So on top of that, I'm being garnished. That happened. My youngest brother, he had a son with a young lady, and they were broke up, but they had an apartment, but there was no TV at the apartment. And she asked me, since I had income, if I can go rent to on her a TV and she'll pay me for it. Dumbest decision I ever made. To this day, can't nobody ask me to do nothing, put nothing in nothing. My kids can't even ask me to put nothing in my name. But anyhow, so I put it in my name, got her a TV. And for about a good month, She paid the bill. It was like 50 a week. It was a huge TV. After that, she quit paying. And I paid it a few times. And I'm like, man, bump this. I ain't about to pay it. So I told her, like, well, since you ain't paying, turn the TV in. She started avoiding me. And I'm like, well, what the heck going on? So finally, they got to calling me like, where the TV? We over your house. I'm like, the TV ain't here. It just got ugly. So finally, she told me that she pawned the TV, and she told me where she pawned the TV at. I told her, like, well, give me the pawn ticket. I'm going to go get that TV out and turn it back in. I'll deal with you later. She was like, okay. She kept spinning me with the pawn ticket. That's all I wanted was a pawn ticket. I was going to pay to get that TV out the pawn and everything. She would not give it to me. Then she said she lost it. I said, the pawn place said, all you gotta do is come up there with your ID and they'll give you another pawn ticket. She would not. So finally things got to a head and me and her, we got to going. And she said, you know what? I'm gonna come over your house and beat your ass. I ain't thinking that. I'm like, this little bitty girl, she ain't gonna come over my house and beat my ass. So I'm going about my day. I get my 13-year-old at the time, she was a little baby. I got her ready, stuck her in the car seat. I'm getting ready to walk out the door when I see this girl pull up. I said, oh, she pulled up. So what I did was the little baby, she was in the car seat, sleep at the time, and my kid's dad was in the house still. So I just slid her in the house, told him grab her real quick, and I closed the door. She get out the car and ran towards me like she was gonna beat me up. So now look, y'all, I used to have a really bad temper, really bad. But by that time, I had already started to calm down a bit. I was working professionally as a nurse. I had a license. You know, you got to conduct yourself a certain way. At least I believe that. That day, I ain't give a fuck because she came at me and I got ready. I bucked up on her. And she turned around and took off and she ran to her car and ran to the car. So I ran behind her and I started banging on her window and I was like, bitch, get out the car. You know, I'm about to beat your ass. And she said, Jasmine, you're a nurse. You're a professional. You're going to lose your license. I'm not getting, if I get out the car and fight you, you're going to lose your license. I looked at her. I was in so much rage at that moment. I said, fuck that license. Bitch, get out the car. And I kicked the car. And she just gave me this look of fear like, okay, Jazz is serious. She was talking shit from in the car and she said, oh, you ain't never getting that TV, bitch. She drove off. When she drove off, she hit my car, which I had a black Dodge Durango. She hit my car, kept going. And what ended up happening was in order to get them, because they started garnishing me too. I was just getting my neck toe up left and right. So in order to stop that, what I had to do was file charges against her and have them get their TV back, but they still kept garnishing me. So I was facing eviction. They kept garnishing me. I didn't have any money to move because all my money was gone, right? So this is what I did. We ended up packing up the house. When we packed up the house, we ended up staying with my best friend Tish. So we weren't like homeless sleeping outside, but it was like December. It was like right before Christmas. It was freezing outside, and me and all my kids and my kid's dad had to pile up in her 1-bedroom apartment until we could find a place. Oh, it didn't stop there. So we're in her place. Her landlord at the time, he didn't turn the heat on. So like her heat was controlled by her landlord. This is December. She told me usually he turned the heat on around November. He ain't turned nothing on. It was freezing in her apartment. She had like a slumlord. She had black mold growing up the walls everywhere. Hell, she wasn't staying there half the time. She was trying to wait for her lease was up to move, which her lease ended up being up the next month. So we piled up in an apartment with her. But one night, it was me, my kid's dad, and my stepson, and all the kids. Me and him were in the bed asleep with the baby who was now my 13-year-old. My 7-year-old wasn't born yet. Um, and we hear bang on the door. So when I go to the door, it's the police, and they was like, is Kareem here? And I was like, yeah, what's going on? And it was like, he got a report of kidnapping. Well, he used to have a very toxic relationship with his son's mother. So apparently they fell out over money, even though like by this point, he had his son a lot. Um, One thing I don't play about is I don't play about a person that don't take care of their kids. Like if you got kids, you getting them. If you mess with me, you got kids, you getting them kids. So I don't play about the kids. You getting them kids, we don't get them kids what they need, whatever. But sometimes when him and her would go through it about money and stuff like that, or she would ask him for things, I didn't know about it. He wouldn't tell me because he was petty. And like he'd give her a hard time sometimes. Well, that particular night, she called the police and accused him of kidnapping her son. So police came knocked on the door. Well, he had some warrants. I think I told y'all he was an old drug dealer. And even though he had quit selling drugs when I became, when I went to nursing school, he still had some old baggage. He had some old warrants. So it's freezing. We in the bed sleep. Police run up in that apartment and they carry him out of there. So now not only am I homeless, but now I'm alone. All these kids. I can't go back to my mama's house because there's a whole bunch of people over there. And my mom, I had asked her and she told me no. She's like, basically, she said my dad wouldn't like it, my stepdad. She's like, oh, your dad wouldn't like it. You can't come back here. She said, your kids can stay the night sometimes, but you. So I was already kind of hurt about that. And then here I was alone. My man was in jail and I had to help him too. So I ended up having to find money to get him stuff that he needed, like long johns and shit like that, because it's freezing in prison too, like in jail too. He was in the like the county, like that should be cold. They don't give a fuck about them people. It should be cold. Like he was freezing up in there, so I had to get him like long johns, thick socks, stuff like that to keep him warm. He ended up going away for like, I think he spent like maybe 2 months or 3 months in jail. And then after that, he went to a halfway house for like 8 or 9 months. So we were separated for almost a year. And I had to help him and do everything by myself for almost a whole ass year. And when I be looking back on it, like, okay, the jazz now, would you had done that? Yeah, I loved him. I would have did that. And that's one thing about me. If I love you and I fuck with you, I fuck with you. And it's almost to a default. And that's probably a great trait about me, but that's probably a horrible trait about me too. Like if I love you, whether you my friend or my man or whoever, if I love you and I mess with you, I mess with you. Period. You can call me anytime for anything and I got you. But once I don't fuck with you no more, it's over. I don't. Like this is the second year in a row. And I know we ain't been together in 5 years. And I don't remember the last time I had sex with this man. I had sex with him. Last time I had sex with my baby daddy was June 2019. And that was whack. He ain't whack, but the whole situation was whack. And I think it was whack because we ain't into each other like that no more. We like best friends. So it just didn't feel right. Pass. It was hot. I'm sorry. I gotta take this bonnet off. It's hot. Whew. But anyhow, oh yeah, that's another thing. I be having those hot flashes. Yeah, they real. I'm having them already, and I shouldn't be nowhere near menopause. My hair cute though. Look at it. Anyhow, yeah, I told him he did give me something for Mother's Day, and I think he did give me some Christmas, but he missed 2 birthdays, so he ain't getting nothing for his birthday no more. I have never missed a birthday with that guy, even after we broke up. I never missed a Father's Day, a Christmas, or nothing. He got me messed up, cutting him off. I know that's petty, but I could do that. But anyhow, he went away for like 9 months. And I continued to get garnished until I had to I actually had to file a bankruptcy. I used to be ashamed of this, but I ain't ashamed no more. Shit, you gotta do what you gotta do. So what happened was me and my best friend, we ended up moving out of that apartment and we got a 2-bedroom. Look, it's me, 4 kids, him when he came home and her, and we got a 4-bedroom townhome. I mean a 2-bedroom. We all squeezed in the 2-bedroom townhome for a year just so that I could get back on my feet. I'm thankful to my best friend. We be having our moments. We had a moment this weekend because she's supposed to do my makeup for my birthday. Yes, I'm calling you out, bitch. You're supposed to do my makeup for my birthday, but she had a bad day, so my makeup didn't get done because her vibration was jacked up, and I'm already sensitive right now emotionally. And I'm like, oh, I ain't about to absorb your shit. So I just left. But she showed up the next day and showed me some love. So I love you. Anyhow, we had to ride that struggle bus for a year. And boy, was it hard. But we made it through. I had to file bankruptcy. I had to get my truck back. I had to start all over, and I had to build myself back up. That was a very difficult time. And to make it so bad, also during that time, I think that's about the time that I had caught him cheating for the second time. The first time it was when I was pregnant with the now 13-year-old. The second time was, but when he went to jail, he left his cell phone, and I got a hold of his cell phone. Mm, mm, mm. You talking about hurt? Oh, I was hurt. And then I ain't done yet. So I used to go visit him when he was in a halfway house, and he would come home sometimes on the weekend, you know. But I can't say around that time because we were spaced apart. The sex in our relationship was the best about that time. We were very exploratory. We were nasty. I like that. I like that nasty shit. Yeah, we was very nasty around that time. He was nasty. He was nasty. He couldn't keep his hands off me. Child. Little do he know I started cheating. That was the first time I ever started cheating. I cheated on him with one person. And that was when I met the person that I cheated on him with. We're gonna talk about that next real quick. Y'all. I had never cheated on him. And the funny thing is that I loved him so much for a while. I didn't desire to be with anyone else either. But I got tired of getting played, which is not the right thing to do. Don't do this. It doesn't make anything better. But I felt like I had to pay him back or some old petty shit, so I cheated back. It didn't make things better. It really didn't. I mean, he didn't know, but it didn't make things better. I mean, nowadays he probably wouldn't care if he did. I don't care if he cared because he did a lot of dirty shit. But anyhow, he had sent me home with a bag, and in the bag it was a letter that he wrote his friend, and basically he told his friend about a female that he was seeing. And he was like, "Yeah, she young, she beautiful, she only got one kid, and she has her own apartment." And he was like, "When I get out of jail, when I come home, basically I'm gonna leave Jazz and go stay with her." And then in the letter he tells his friend, "Yeah, Jazz supported me through this whole ordeal, but fuck Jazz, fuck her." I said, "Oh, fuck me. I've been sending your ass money every week, coming to get you, driving you around, doing all this shit, taking care of all your business, still helping with your kids, and this fuck Jazz." So during this time, I met somebody. We just gonna call him Coach, and I met him through my friend. And I remember, well, she didn't hook me up with him, but he just happened to be somewhere where I was, and I told her like, "Oh my gosh, I got a crush on him." He is like, because he was so chocolate. It's chocolate men do something to me. They just do. He was so chocolate. Then he had these pretty ass locks, and he was thick. I like him thick too. He got a belly, even better. He was thick too. He was he was chocolate as fuck. And on top of being chocolate, this motherfucker had dimples. Ooh, child. So one so one day he called me out the blue. I was like, "How you get my number?" He's like, "You know how I got my number. You know how I got your number." He's like, "Man, quit fucking." Imagine he's a Sagittarius too. His birthday should be coming up. I gotta tell him happy birthday. We still cool to this day, but not like that. I ain't touched him since 20. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Been years. But anyhow, and stuff. And he was like, "You know what the fuck? I already heard how you be checking me out. Like, quit playing with me, Jazz. What's up? I've been checking your ass out too. I thought I wasn't your type because you be all acting bougie and stuff, but what's up?" And I'm like, I'm down to earth. What's up? So anyhow, we would talk on the phone and stuff and hang out. And one night she gave a party, and it was God, I'm telling this story. I'm giving y'all all my business. So it was like she had like a card night. We went over there, we played cards, we played spades and stuff like that. Right. So we had so much fucking fun. We was drinking, having fun. We was slow dancing to R. Kelly before R. Kelly became the R. Kelly that was in prison. At this time, R. Kelly was fucking pop. We was dancing, jamming, we had drinks, we was eating food. He danced with me the whole time. And one thing led to another. My friend was like, I'll be back. I'm about to go and do something. She went somewhere with something, but yeah. It just, yeah, child. So, God, we got busy. We got very, hey, I ain't gonna hold y'all. Even though I'm like damn near none now because, I'm working on myself and I'm healing. God, I'm a freak. I ain't gonna hold. I like fucking. And I'm not doing it nearly as much as I used to because I'm number one, I think the older you get, the more selective you get. Like you don't want nobody touching you. And I'm just to that point to where I really don't want nobody touching me. But when I do want somebody touching me, God damn it, I'm nasty. But anyhow, oh, you might hear the microphone stack. My bad, y'all. Microphone fell over, but yeah, we were nasty. And we would just do it everywhere. I mean, the laundromat, the park, on the bench, um, the basketball court, under the bleach. I mean, we found a place to do it. We did everywhere. On the car, in the car. Seldomly did we ever like traditionally have sex in a bed somewhere. We was just everywhere. So when my kid's dad came home, I decided to make my relationship work again and be more faithful. Um, I did see him like maybe once or twice after that, but I'm not gonna lie. I was in love with my kid's dad. So when I was with him, I was with him. Like I didn't want nobody else. And like if the only reason why I was like messing around was because I was hurt. And look, there's no excuse on my part because I could have worked through that by leaving because I knew he was a chronic cheater when I met him. Shit, hell, when he met me, he was cheating on somebody else with me. I found out later. I didn't know at that time, but I found out later that he had a girlfriend. He was cheating on her with me. He ended up with me. And then when we broke up, he ended up with somebody else that he was cheating on me with. So it's like a cycle with him. So I knew who he was. So I'm not making excuses for my actions because I knew what I was dealing with. And I could have left, but I didn't. And I think I like the idea of having we ran a household, our children loved us, and maybe it was just all a look. But even though like we had our issues and we used to go back and forth and we didn't argue often. We didn't have a lot of fights or arguments. And that's just because I used to let a lot of shit slide, and I'm pretty sure on my part he let a lot of shit slide. He knew I was doing something. But we loved each other's kids and we loved our kids so much. We kind of worked through that. But when the kids started getting older, you know, and I became spiritual and I started to transform as a woman, that's when, the relationship really suffered. And that's why now I understand why having a spiritual foundation in a relationship is extremely important, and having like similar morals or values are extremely important. You don't have to have the same religious beliefs, but when I say spiritual foundations and stuff like that and morals and values, like what do you have in a relationship? Because if you don't have it, you know it's not enough to hold it won't be enough to hold you together. What we had, it wasn't enough to hold us together as a couple, but I can actually say it was enough to hold us together as a family because we still operate like a family. We still view each other like a family. We still view each other as friends. Like he called me and we crack jokes all the time. Every blue moon we'll go out to eat or we'll hang out. So we still had like some core values, but not enough to keep us together in a relationship. And it's crazy because lately people been asking like, when y'all getting back together, or when y'all gonna make it work, or y'all need to just go ahead and just get back together and get married. And we both like, no, we better off. Cool. And plus, shit, he 50. He still shit. I don't even think his youngest son, mama 30. I'm too old for him. I done got too old for him now. He called me old. He likes young women. And I mean, he's a nice looking man. He dresses nice. He real smooth. So, them young women, they love him. So shit, while he still got it, he gonna get it till he can't get it no more. I just don't hope that motherfucker don't think that I'm gonna be here when he done getting into some G's. Let me tell you something. He's like one of the most intelligent men I know. But when it comes to computers, goddamn. Now look, I haven't touched this man in years. I still have to help him pay all his bills on the internet. He refuses to pay his own bills online. I be helping him pay his bills. I had to help him with his insurance and his life insurance earlier. I ain't gonna tell y'all who the beneficiary is. He just weird. Weird. That's my guy. Anybody do that shit? Hey, what you doing? I'm about to slide down here with my car so you can pay this car note for me on the internet. Your old ass. Pay your own fucking car note. But anyhow, that's my guy. I love him to death. I'm just joking. But yeah, from that spot on, I'm gonna tell you where I went wrong at what my lesson was. Number one, I trusted him when I knew I shouldn't have had, because I placed a lot of responsibility on his hands when I knew he didn't have the he didn't have the knowledge or resources or wisdom to carry a family. And I knew it because I seen him make bad choices with money and bad spending habits. So what ended up happening was, because of that, when things tanked and he went to jail, I ended up having to put everything together by myself. Now look, I'm not blaming everything on him, because remember, like I told y'all earlier, I had some issues too that I had to sort through. But I learned a lot of lessons from that as well. But at one point, like, he had me so wrapped up in him. If he said, Jasmine, give me all your checks, let me flip them and sell a whole bunch of dope and weed and pay these bills, I probably would have let him do it. Yeah, I was one of those. So after that, I just took more control of my finances. And what I did was, from 2011 all the way up to 2019, I worked 2 jobs, damn near 2 full-time jobs. And that's another part of the time that my relationship with my children suffered, because I was at work all the time, because I did not want to put them through what we had just went through. But along that time, one thing that I fucked up at is I forgot to value family, because family, your kids be the most important thing. And next thing you know, other people raising your kids, and your kids picking up habits that you don't necessarily agree with, but there's nothing you can do about them. So anyhow, I worked 2 jobs. One of them I billed independently for Medicaid. So basically, what I did was I would get patients and I would see them as an independent nurse, and I would bill. Another thing I would do is got my registered nurse's degree, and I would supervise other nurses under me. Great money. It was nice. I did that from like 2011 to maybe 2017. That's what I did, and I made a lot of money, got my credit good, bought a house. So by this time, I had a nice house. We always kept 2 cars. So I had a nice house. We both had 2 almost new cars. Everything was back good. My credit was looking beautiful. Everything was good. We were doing good. And one day I got a call from I forgot who called me. It was an investigator with the Department of Health. And basically, it was reported that one of the nurses that worked up under me for my patient was what she was doing was saying that she was working at night, and she wasn't. But she was paying my patient basically hush money. And something happened where my patient ended up in the hospital, which I knew about because I had to oversee all that. what this goofy ass nurse did was she billed Medicaid the night that the patient was in a hospital. And that caused them that flagged an investigation. Like, why, how can she bill these nights and the girl was in the hospital these nights? You can't bill for services that you don't render. That caused an investigation. And of course, since I signed over the case, pulled me right into it. And though I didn't get in any trouble because I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't like that feeling. So what I had to do in place of that nurse was would have to go sit at this girl's house. Well, they would do pop-up visits. Like, I mean, shit, an investigator pop up at her house at like 3 in the morning just to see if there was a nurse there working. That's how it got. I mean, one night I had left her and ran to the store because she loved strawberry cake. And I would go to the gas station in the middle of the night that was open 24 hours around the corner. I would grab one. I left her house to go grab one, and she called me. She said, "Hey, somebody here." I went out the house 5 minutes. That's how I knew they was watching her house. That's how bad it was. So after that, I was just like, you know what? I don't want no more smoke. Because it'd be so much stuff going on there. Like, there was another patient nurse I was over. And what she was doing was we had to make our own nurses' notes. Like, and I would give them copies of like blank nurses' notes that they can complete. This motherfucker, she put out the same thing on, this is illegal. She put out the same thing on every single note. On one note and made hella photocopies. And the only thing she changed was the date and the vitals. And somebody came and investigated. It was like, these are all duplicates. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Another thing that you have to do is these little updates. We call them 485s. Every 60 days, you got to take it into the doctor. It's like a certification. Doctor has to sign it. If the doctor is missing any piece on that 485, Medicaid will not pay you. When I say they paid me, right? The doctor missed a signature. The doctor didn't miss a signature, but the doctor didn't date it correctly. Somehow, so what happened was for that period, when I took the paperwork in, the doctor was on vacation. I didn't know. This was my mistake though, because usually you're not supposed to bill until that thing is signed and dated. Because if you bill anytime before that thing is dated, you out of compliance. Well, what I didn't know was that the doctor was on vacation and didn't sign it, and I billed. And they wanted all their money back for that fucking month. And I had to give them like maybe $2,600 back. And we ain't even gonna talk about the taxes and how the taxes come after you. You know, I tried to file my taxes properly. They tried to tell me I owed taxes, and when I proved I didn't owe taxes, instead of them paying me my money back, they found another way to say I owed them money. To me, it was a joke. And I was so tired of it, I gave it up. And I just went to work for a regular home health agency. And I had one patient, she was MRDD. She was the sweetest thing in the world. I used to leave my 9 to 5 job and go see her after work and then go home. So much stress was lifted off of me, but $1,600 a week I lost. I didn't have it no more. But for my peace, it was worth it. So when I got with my other patient and I just took care of her till I took care of my mom and my mom passed. And then 2019 in February, I had enough. I said, you know what, no more 2 jobs. And I just worked one job and did the jazz and medium thing. And that's what I've been doing ever since. But I had to take back control of my life. And I realized that sometimes I'm weird. It's no middle ground with me. Sometimes I either trust a motherfucker too much or I don't trust you at all. Like, ain't no in the middle, like a little situation I dealt with earlier this week. Man, I trust this man too much. Man, this dude played me. Like, I trust him too. I don't know why my spirit was like, probably because I had so many dreams about him, but my spirit was like, trust him. I'd sit down and be having something like, bitch, you lie. Why you tell me to trust this nigga? Like, pert. Like, and then now, like, now I don't trust nobody. It's just, it's either or. But I had trusted my kid's dad too much, and me trusting him and me being dumb as hell when it comes to money and finances, yeah, we ended up homeless. But I learned from that. when my mom passed and I lost everything again between 2018 and 2019, I knew how to bounce back and quickly. It didn't take me long to figure it out because I didn't make the same mistake. So the damages weren't as extensive. My house did go into foreclosure, which I took care of all of that, but I did bounce back, and my credit didn't take too hard a hit either. But that's one of my stories, one of my hardships. I got through it. Lessons. I learned so many lessons throughout that. The first one of the biggest lessons I learned, number one, is about my relationship. You got to know when to leave. And I say this because my arm getting numb and I'm sleepy. I say this because, I stayed with this person despite all the stuff that we went through. And I wasn't happy. And another lesson that I learned is that I wasn't happy with myself. My self-esteem was shot. It really was. My hair was falling out. I was losing weight. So the lesson that I learned, and it really didn't drive home until recently, is that you gotta love on yourself. If you don't have any value in yourself, there is no way for you to have a good relationship with anybody. And that has been my issue my entire life. I could be up here and blame people all I want, like I can't find a good man. There are no good men out there. Yay! But am I being the best person to myself is the question. So I had to change that, and I just started being better to me. And once you start being better to yourself, like a real relationship be the least of your worries. Now look, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I be having my moments. I gotta sit up, y'all. My arm falling asleep. I be having my moments. Like, look, y'all. Sometimes I be like, man, where you at though? I do. But most of the time, shit. What time is it? It's 11:30 and I'm still up. Nowadays, I'm happy because I got so much love around me. I got me. Look, y'all, I be like right now, I'm here by myself. I ain't even about to show y'all the other side of my bed. I got a Bible, my journal, books, the remote. I don't have to share the TV. My bag is over there. All my little Tybro tools, my herbs. I got all types of shit on the other half of my bed. My room is a flipping mess. And I ain't got nobody to fuss at me about it. I'm okay with that right now. I mean, now look, if you come in, I'll get it together. Because when my one friend was driving here, I think he lived like 2 hours away in Indiana. He was just driving here. I made sure this room was clean. If he was to come over right now, I'd be embarrassed. I mean, ain't nothing on the floor. But my dresser, I got tarot cards, lotion, melatonin, water bottles, mouthwash, my 7-year-old shoes, a bowl from a salad I just ate, hair oil. Then over here, I got my water, my medicine, my light, my glasses, my pens, my deodorant. Yeah, I need, yeah, I need to get myself together. But I'm like, in my mess, I am in heaven. I am in joy. I'm just enjoying stuff. Got my little TV to myself. Try sharing a TV with somebody for 14 years that don't watch nothing but ESPN. And I like sports too. I'm sick of them. I be enjoying my little time by myself. So I just think I'm really growing into embracing who I am. And like I'm learning that you don't need nobody to travel. Like next year, me and my cousin, we going on this cruise, and then I'm trying to go on this trip to Africa, to Ghana. So I'm looking forward to that. I just made a decision to live. And then I want to take my daughters on a cruise. Maybe my son, if he act right, say nah. He can go if he want to go. He don't want to go nowhere with me. But I learned to enjoy life now. Now, the biggest lesson, and I'm going to leave y'all with this: the creator makes no mistakes. saying that the creator makes them, that's just an insult. There are no mistakes. Everything that happens to you happens like it's supposed to happen to you. And I know we've had some jacked up stuff happen to some of us. I was molested. Shit, I was raped too. I ain't even, I done had some jacked up stuff happen to me. But the creator, they made no mistakes. The biggest lesson I took is that number one, I'm stronger. I'm strong. I've never had anything happen to me that I couldn't handle, even when I felt like I couldn't. I always get through it. So now when I get hit with things that feel hard, I just be like, okay, I've been through hard things before. I can get through this. I've done it. I've been through so many hard things. I can do this. I've done it. Like I've had my heart broken before. I can do this. I done had a man put his hands on me. I'd have been beat up before. I'd have been raped before. I done been through a lot of stuff. And I'm still here. And I still live every day to be a good person. And I still live every day to try my best not to be a better person. The creator makes no mistakes. And everything that has ever happened to me in my life is the reason why I am who I am today. Pretty much. And that was my lesson. Nothing ever happened to me that I can't handle. And the day it happens, that just means it's time for me to go. And I've served my purpose here. While I'm here, I can handle it. I have before. Anyhow, thank you for tuning in. I know I went in. I went longer than I usually go. And it's funny because I restarted this thing like 3 times because I couldn't think of nothing to talk about. But for everybody that listens in regularly, thank you. I am a bit raw for some people. I got mixed feedback about this podcast. A lot of people they be like, "Girl, you just too open, you too raw." And then other people they love my transparency. This by doing this and speaking, it's helping me just as much as I hope it's helping somebody else. This is my therapy. I hope I'm your therapy. And you can always hit me up. I got so many platforms. Jazz the Medium. I am Jazz the Medium everywhere. You can Google me. And I don't say this with ego. I'm saying like if you really want to get in contact me, jazzthemedium@gmail.com. Email me. I'll answer. I swear I would. And one more thing. If you're in Cincinnati and you see me in public and you speak to me and I look at you like I'm crazy, I swear I don't be funny. I don't be knowing who people are until they tell me. It happened to me. I went to the Victory of Light, which was on the 19th of November, and people kept stopping me like, Jazz the Medium? Do you remember me? And I'm like, no, don't take it personal. I suck at remembering people. No offense. I'm a medium. I spend a lot of time hovering them in between places I be talking about. I don't be here all the time. I be gone. I be everywhere. So no offense. I'm sorry. I love you all. Don't forget to love on yourself. Give yourself some hugs and love on you and tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror until you feel it, bruh. Man, that's what I do. I'd be looking at myself so deep in the eyes. I'd be looking at myself like I want a man to look at me and be like, I love you, bruh. Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Like, I love you. I love you. I love you when your hair ain't done. I love you when you feel fat. I love you when you in pain. I love you when you a grouch. Jazz, I love you when you a bitch. I love you when you mean. I love you when you sweet. I love you when you sour and grumpy and don't want to talk to nobody. I love all of you. I love your pinky toenail that don't grow in, and when it's growing and growing, twisted and weird. I love you when you complain about your nails because you nitpicky. I love you when you hate your big toe because it's bent weird. I love it all. Love your big old ears, your funny nose. I ain't got no eyebrow. I love all of that. Love. I ain't got no acne on my face, but I got it on my back. I love the acne on my back. I love the varicose veins on my legs. I love the cellulite in my thighs. I love the jiggle in my belly. I love it all. And the fact that I ain't got no booty. Let me tell you something, Creator. I know this wasn't no mistake. Because I think the Creator knows if he would have gave me an ass, yeah, I'd have been a stripper. He didn't give me an ass for a reason. Guess Creator was like, if I give her a booty, she is not going to live out her purpose. No booty for her. Flat butt. I mean, it's couplable. It's a handful. I ain't gonna lie. My friend earlier this year, he liked my butt. He was like, you know what, you got a butt. It's nice. He had a weird accent. I don't know. People from like Hamilton and Middletown and shit like that, they got these weird accents. Why and I and whatever. We ain't about to talk about this motherfucker. Anyhow, but he licked my butt. He said my butt was nice. All right, y'all. Good night. I love y'all. Peace. Shit.